But for many of the times, we tend to run our mouths on some of the things that we need to do as a people. And we know that as far as the elections are concerned, just 15 days to the elections, many of us are still running our mouths as to the choices that we'll be making. Please make sure you
think
make the
people
right
haven't made up their minds yet?
You've
made up your mind, yeah?
Me?
Yeah.
I know who I'm voting for. But you know who I'm voting for.
I know who you're voting for?
Oh, my vote is not a secret.
I am so privileged.
My vote is not a secret.
So share. I've got a special birthday. I have a very special birthday. You see the way the Americans did it. I mean, if somebody was for Trump, they would say it. If somebody was for Hillary,
but for us, if you have a Kufado, you say problem. If you have a Domama, you say problem.
What is hard? You can say I am for JM. I am for Nana.
Adodi 2016. The
okay.
JM 2016. We have squared it.
Let me
1-1. That's all.
Let me say my special birthday wish. I've got a very special birthday dedication to Fafa Agau of Grace and Glory School at Mataiko. So Fafa is 2 years old today, and it's a happy birthday from Christopher and your big auntie Mama V. So Fafa Agau of Grace and Glory School at Mataiko. Happy birthday to you. It's your second birthday. All right, roll.
We have to go to the central region. We go to Cape Coast North and Mamavi.
Yeah, that's out in our Constituency Watch program. Jobs, roads, and better healthcare. These will influence the votes this year in the Cape Coast North constituency. In today's constituency diary, Derek Akosam paints a picture of the Cape Coast North constituency, which will have a new member of parliament following incumbent Abel Barton Odro's decision not to contest the seat again.
Cape Coast, Gold Coast National Capital, is now the capital of the central region of Ghana. An ancient town, Cape Coast is blessed with historic sites like the Cape Coast Castle and Kakum National Park. The town is also home to most of Ghana's top-class senior high schools. A section of the residents in the Cape Coast North constituency are farmers.
Some are farmers, and some also do government work. That's their main occupation.
And apart from that, I see people are trading as well.
Oh yes, then we have traders too. They trade in various items. Some are petty traders, some trade in provisions, some trade in haberdasheries and all sorts. There are so many.
And those who are farmers, what crops do they grow?
Oh, they grow cassava, plantain, and tomatoes, pepper, and garden eggs.
The work that we all do is self-employed. Yeah, buying and selling. Okay, we do fishing too, but farming too. There are some people that farm.
Most of them are self-employed, as I've told you. The petty trading here and there. So the employment situation is very bad. Either they are traders, or some go to the sea. Others, they go to the hinterland to do their farming. So these are the main. Many times they want to go to the village to get some foodstuffs to come and sell. And they feel better off than attending school. A few also go to Elmina to buy fish to come and sell. So they are mainly traders, but even the trading is petty trading they do.
The others who are not beneficiaries of the soil are traders. From selling phones and accessories to food, the people of Cape Coast North will take advantage of any legal business opportunity to make money. Residents tell me they have adopted this mode of making money because formal employment opportunities are scarce. But not every constituent is into farming or trading. The older folks travel down south to enjoy the benefit of a natural resource, the sea. They fish to make a living. The Cape Coast North constituency is saddled with many challenges. Though the constituency can boast of the University of Cape Coast Polytechnic, and some senior high schools like Wesley Girls and Efutu Senior High Schools, residents of school-going age are forced to help their parents in the farms and canoes because, according to the parents, they lack the financial wherewithal to cater for the children.
Some like going to school and some too don't like going to school. The issue is about the finance and, you know, some of them come from a family that not educated, so it's like it's a generation to them.
Cape Coast North, I would say, apart from the university, the level is a bit low. The academic ladder is not very high. Even though we have a few secondary schools around, like Christ the King, they've just located to this place, and a few basic schools around. The people here, they don't like attending school very much. They like trading. Many times they want to go to the village to get some foodstuffs to come and sell, and they feel better off than attending school.
I think when they complete SHS, they think that's all. They don't spend it, yeah.
So would you say that the people here are highly educated, or it's an average?
No, it's not highly.
But I know you have a lot of schools here. Why don't they want to continue? Because I know Wesley Girls is here, UCC is also in this constituency, C Poly as well.
They think the fees is too high for them, they can't pay.
To visit the famous Kakum National Park, one has to go through this constituency, but the roads in the constituency deter visitors from accessing such sites. Residents tell me they have complained severally, but it appears their pleas have fallen on deaf ears. Commercial drivers in the constituency feel the pinch the most.
Most of the roads are very bad. I don't know whether it's the contractors who are not doing the right thing, or it's our government who is not helping us much, because when we compare our roads with Takoradi roads, I always feel bad. The contractors, I feel they are all also giving the same amount or the same type of roads to do, but you will see Takoradi having very good roads, but ours, within a few months, everything will deteriorate again. It affects our cars, those with cars, and also even the taxi drivers, they charge quite high because they are on bad roads and they have to repair their cars.
For 1.5 years when I came, it was all that quite better, and now because of sometimes the raining seasons and other things, it is affecting the road, and now we have lots of potholes, as you can see. It affects us mostly when it rains, and you know, because pedestrians are passing, cars too are passing.
I'm a taxi driver. We load to Academy and Interbaton. There's a secondary school in Academy. You can go and see the road. It's very bad, especially when it rains. It's very bad.
The Abra Market, which is the constituency's port of call for all trading activities, from what I see, needs a facelift. These challenges have, however, not prevented the people of Cape Coast North from being actively involved in politics. Residents have since 1992 played a key role in determining who assumes the role of Member of Parliament for the erstwhile Cape Coast constituency. From 1992 to 1996, Harry Hayford from the National Convention Party represented the people of Cape Coast. He was succeeded by Christine Churcher, who served 3 terms from 1996 to 2008. In 2008, Ebu Martin Odro, who had been runner-up in the 2000 and 2004 parliamentary elections, was third-time lucky and won the seat to represent the people of Cape Coast from 2008 to 2012, when the Electoral Commission decided to divide the constituency into 2 due to its growing population. To help understand the dynamics of elections in Ogwa, as natives call it, I caught up with Samuel Marcotte, a political historian at Cape Coast.
NDC have won the seat for 2 times, and the MPP have won it 3 times. When it was Cape Coast, but when it was divided into 2, North and South, NDC have won it. And we won both seats. Yes.
How is it like? You have elitist areas and you have what we call the villages. What's the voting pattern like? Which areas vote for the MPP, which areas vote for the NDC, the PPP, and all the other political parties?
The elites vote for MPP, and the those who call the villages and the villages vote for NDC. When you get to the Sipoli area, the Bonkus, Sipoli, Nanaba, and the rest, they usually vote for the MPP. And Abra, the university community. But when you go outside the university, when you go someone like Kwapro, architecture, then you come down to Kwapro, architecture, and then you come to Ifutu, and then the rest they vote for an NDC.
From what you are telling me, I have a feeling that you have more of the villages than the elitist areas.
Yes, please.
Why will the elites vote for the NPP and then those in what we call the villages vote for the NDC?
I think if you look at the developmental projects that the party who comes to power do, and then this actually give them the hope that whenever I vote for these people, I'll be able to attain my the infrastructure that they need. Yes, that's why I see them voting for.
So apart from the projects that are going on in the areas, do they say, okay, this one is from my hometown, I'll vote for him, this one is an account? Do they vote on ethnic lines?
No. They don't vote on ethnic line, no. It's not on ethnic line, yes.
My issue is that they will give us a new market, and they will also see to the welfare of the business community, how our business will go up, and how we have funds to generate our businesses. That is the issue that I used to vote on.
So going into the November 7 elections, what issues are on your mind?
This is the same issue, that they should see to the welfare of the people of the community. Our roads, the market, how they will develop it, as at now, as you see, how they will develop the market for us. And what we don't like is, we don't want anything to be politicized. We don't want that.
Why?
That we don't want. We, the market people, everybody is having his political affiliation, but we don't do politics here. So when you come, the only thing that you do, that you tell us your issues, what you want, you do. For us, that's all. But we don't want a situation that people will say that I'm from this party, I'm from this party, so these people should do that. We don't want that. When you come, any party at all you are, you just tell us your issues, what you want to do. For us, that's all.
When they come here and they politicize the issues, what happens?
It brings chaos. It brings chaos among the people. You see some arguments and so forth and so on. That is what we don't want. That will cause commotions and so forth.
So that's troubling for you as a person?
Oh yes, oh yes. It will be a trouble for me, being a leader of the market. When it comes to that, the situation gets worse, and when it comes to police case, you will be called upon. Maybe I wasn't there when the trouble starts, so what am I going to say? That is why you don't want that.
Vote based on educational system, infrastructure development, social amenities to the people around, or as we, the citizens of Ghana, because we voted, we render our votes, we give our franchise to the people, to our politicians, for them to be in positions and then help us as we expect it to be.
based on the promise that they give, the corruption that is going, and so many things as well. Like the corruption as well. The promises that they give, that they'll be giving the youth work. The government have failed us so much. So based on these things, I'll look out and
I always look at the situation underground. Like when a government comes, I expect the government to do something that will benefit everybody. Like the health insurance, which everybody is able to register. If you are able to register, it means we are going to benefit. And then the buses, they call it Kufuor buses. Anybody can go anywhere with a bus. And then the education too. Instead of 3 years SHS, they made it 4 years. And my school, for instance, where I was teaching, they did very well. Within the 4 years, the students were performing. But after they changed it to the 3 years, things is going down. The students' performance is going down, and it's a big problem now. So the education must be revamped. Even the health sector, things must change for the better. Because these days, people go to the hospital, and some are complaining that even with the health insurance, they have to pay money before they are taken care of. Therefore, things are not going the way it should.
I listen to the issues they will say and the promise they will give before I vote. Promise like, oh, they will bring job, they will employ the youth, and I will vote. I will not go and take money before I vote. I will look the promise before I vote.
Me, I don't even think I'll vote.
Why?
I don't see why I should vote when I'm not even getting a job. I'm not working.
You don't know the reason why you should vote, so that whoever you vote for turns things around for you?
Well, if the person comes and it's okay, maybe the next time I'll vote for the person. But right now, I don't think I'll vote.
And so far, 3 names have come up for election to represent the people of Cape Coast North in the upcoming elections. The National Democratic Congress has a new candidate following Barton Odro's decision to bow out of the August House after his second term. Former Deputy Interior Minister and current head of the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, GIFEC, and that is Kwabie Champon, will seek to retain the seat for the NDC. But he faces competition from another new face, Barbara Asha AEC, a tutor from the Wesley Girls Senior High School, who is representing the New Patriotic Party. Now, these 2 newcomers are being contested by Sarah Eresi Bakna from the Progressive People's Party, who is making an appearance for the second time, having lost to Ebu Barton Odro in the last polls. So what will these aspirants do to alleviate the plight of the constituents and develop the Cape Coast North constituency? Let's hear from the NDC's Kwabie Champon, then Barbara Isi of the NPP, and Sarah Bakna of the PPP will follow suit.
A lot of the kids just mill about on a daily basis without going to school. Now you talk to their parents, the bottom line is they don't have the financial wherewithal to take them through school. What I want to do is basically to help raise the living standards. Because with a raised living standard, then parents can afford basic things that will enable them to take their kids to school. And therefore, that is the bulk of the problem that I see. Now, to address that will require us doing a number of things. Some will be social interventionist policies that will enable the people to have access to certain kinds of help to bring them up to that kind of standard.
I agree with you that Cape Coast, we always say it is a hub of tourism and we can boast of a lot of wonderful schools. Most of the grade A schools are in Cape Coast, but life is tough. I mean, it's unfortunate that we do not have our children in such schools. And as a teacher, in Wesley Girls High School, it's really a burden to know that most of the people that come there are actually not from Cape Coast. They're coming from outside Cape Coast. And I did my own investigation and I realized that poverty is a major problem here in Cape Coast. We are all aware that the whole of Ghana, the central region, is rated the fourth most poorest region. So for me, I think that what I have to do in my own small way, I have to be able to do something in my own small way to help my people. I realized that, one, most of the people are always depending on the government. The government to do this. You know, Fancies, we love good things. We are waiting for the government to give us good jobs, to do this and that. But we need to change because let's face the fact. People have worked in Ghana for the past 2 years and they do not even have appointment letters. Nothing even shows that they should work in such institution. I have some of them in my school, Wesley Girls High School, where I teach. So these jobs are not there. So what can we do? That is why I would encourage people to go into, you know, how do we call it, into the vocational and technical education.
I've also gone around. I've gone around the schools and I know that the schools are in deplorable state. Now what I've started doing is that I'm trying to encourage the people to go to school. You know, I'm using the parents, you know, attaching myself to the parents so that those who need help, I'm trying for my salary, I'm trying to at least assist them bit by bit. And that is exactly what I'm doing. And those who are also, you know, let's say dropouts, who are doing nothing, I'm encouraging them, trying to give them some work to do. Yes, I've already started employing them to work.
From what I see, it will take more than your salary to put the majority of people in school. And it takes more than just encouraging the parents. They don't have what it takes to put their kids in school.
That's what I'm saying, that because they don't have it, I'm trying to give them some assistance.
For me, if I become an MP, I would ensure that the road right from, how do I call it, Mempiasen to Jukwa is constructed because you realize that we have Kakum there. I believe that if we are able to actually work on the road and we have a good road, I mean, we have a lot of tourists coming in there.
Dr. Parkway Syndrome has a quarry, you know, and a lot, you know, big machines that can be used even to grade the road and to, you know, make it accessible. What I did was, in fact, I used one of the bulldozers, you know, to pave, I mean, to get a small road done. And then we had to just clear a park. And in clearing the park, I, you know, constructed the road. So with all these machinery, I will certainly be able to, you know, do touch-ups in my various constituencies.
Yes, they might have bad roads, but you see, currently the roads are under construction, some portions of it, especially the line between Abra all through to Jukwa is under construction. That gives a straight line. The adjoining areas are the problems. I mean, if you have to branch off the main road into the adjoining area, those are the problems. And I think hopefully in the next budget, we should be able to convince the Ministry of Roads and Highways to look at least rehabilitating the current trunk roads that we have there. Once those roads are rehabilitated, it makes it easier for people to bring their produce from their farms onto the markets for sale. So it requires a lot of consultation with the Ministry of Roads and Highways because they have the plan as far as rehabilitating roads, building new roads are concerned. The issue is we need to make an effort to reach the ministers and talk to them about our problems in the constituency. Once we get that done and they take a look at it, I think we can get some of these things quickly rectified.
I've already started creating the jobs. You know, those who have finished, let's say, university and polytechnics, they've given me their CVs. I've channeled it to a particular human resource, manager to assist them. And then also with the farmers, most of them are into citrus, that is oranges. And I've already spoken to Doctor. We are going to have a citrus factory, reactivated in the Cape Coast North. I'm also, looking for a building where they will be able to put in GN Bank, which will also bring some, employment to some people within the community. I'm also talking to Doctor. He's going to put up a small, soap factory, because some of the people who deal in kernel oil, they don't get people to buy, and those who buy do not pay. They take it and they never come back with their money. So I'm trying to see how best we can generate all that. Even with the ordinary kernel, the shells, we are trying to package them so that people can use it to set fire in their individual homes.
They have a lot of traders and people doing private sector jobs. The issue really has to do with how to disaggregate what kind of jobs they are doing. I mean, if you look at most of them, they are into little trading. The question is the volumes in which they trade do not allow them to get a full benefit of their trading activities. So I intend to basically bring up the volumes, and it's because they don't have access to the social interventionist things like the mass logs, the yes funds. They don't have access to it. So for me, that is the way to go in terms of those who work in the private sector. For those who also want to work with the public sector, these institutions are there, the universities are there. We need to look at the employment opportunities that are available for some of them so that they can find work in those sectors, at least on a certain scale. Working in the government gives you a certain level of income that you would expect to attract for the kind of skill you have. So that when you put all these things together, you're able to raise it. It's a long-term battle that we would have to engage in. But I believe it has to be started. And once it's started, people begin to have a clear understanding of where we are heading with it. Then they'll put their minds and hearts to what we are trying to do.
Let's talk about, the citrus that we have, the oranges that we have. They're going waste, you understand? So I have spoken with few investors who are ready to come and support my cause so that they can even go into producing orange drinks, orange juice. I mean, these days you have individuals producing Bissap, orange juice.
I like the fact that you said, but Buckner is known. I'm also very well known. It's just that I don't like to make any noise. I come from Chakonfo. And if you go into the communities, almost every town, I have relatives there. Almost every town in there, from Peidu right down to Berbeze, I have relatives all over, scattered all over. So I'm pretty much very well known. It's just that when I had Right Honorable First Deputy Speaker Barton, I needed to keep a low profile because he was the MP. I didn't want to create 2 building blocks. I needed to give him the time to be MP, and therefore I kept that. But now that I am at the helm, I think I'm going to basically do what I have to do in terms of working really hard.
So I've been there and I know and I've experienced it. So I believe that people are going to look at that because Barbara is with the grassroots and I'm sure they're going to look at that. And I want to look at education. I want to look at employment. I want to look at the arts and culture, an area most often neglected. I'm so happy that this time our daddy, our flag bearer, Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is planning setting a fund to ensure that the arts and, the creative arts is promoted in Ghana. And
I'm certain that I will certainly make it, God willing, yes. And I'm going to assist them so that someday, someone can just point a finger that this lady did so many because of the party she happens to be in.
The contest looks keen from the surface, but with a lot of dynamics, as Samuel Marcotte opined.
Well, very interesting views, especially coming from the residents of Cape Coast North Constituency and those leading candidates. We had Kobie Champong, we also had Barbara A.C. and Sarah Iresi Buckner, all of them speaking to us on varied issues, what their intentions are. And we have on the line Barbara A.C., who is the MPP parliamentary candidate for Cape Coast North. A very good morning to you, Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Good morning.
Hello.
Well, good morning to you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you too?
I'm good too. We know that it's just 15 days to elections, and since the last time we spoke to you, how has the campaign, especially the one that you've been conducting, been heating up in the run-up to the polls on December 7th?
Excuse me, please. Could you please speak a little bit up? I can hardly hear you, please.
Okay. Can you hear me clearly? Hello, Barbara?
Hello.
Can you hear me clearly? Well, we have to speak to Barbara. I believe the line is a bit difficult for her to hear me from the studio, but we'll try as much as possible. Try and re-establish a lot more contact. Hello, Barbara, you see? Hello, Barbara? Well, we have on the line Sarah Mary Buckner, who is a PPP parliamentary candidate for Cape Coast North. A very good morning to you, Madam Sarah Buckner.
You sound very far. I can't really hear whatever you are saying.
Okay. Can you hear me clearly now?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I very clear to you now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. From the last time we spoke to you, we know that it's just 15 days to election. How is your campaign, particularly the one that you're conducting, heating as far as the run-up to the polls on December 7 is? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello, Madam Sarah. Can you hear me?
No, it's rather... have you called two of us at the same time?
Please, may I know who's on the line, please?
Hello?
Hello, is that Madam Sarah Buckner?
Well, I'm not talking. There's somebody talking, you know.
To you. I think you are getting some feedback. Okay. We have to re-establish all these lines and be in a position to call them again. But we brought you a documentary as to how the candidates in Cape Coast North in the central region are preparing for the elections. And we also spoke to Kobie Champong, who is the parliamentary candidate representing the NDC. Madam Sarah Mary Buckner is also with the PPP and the parliamentary candidate for the party in the constituency. And then we have Barbara Iresi, AC, and we'll try and speak to all of them as well.